Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome yourselves back to another video. So this is gonna be the full in-depth track-by-track review of Everyday Life by Coldplay. But first, we're gonna, like I just said, start with track by track. So we're gonna do Sunrise Church. So we're gonna do sunrise portion, sunset portion, obviously what we think of each song, and then review the album as a whole compared to other albums, all of that good stuff. And if you want more from this channel and all of that, we're going to discuss at the end what you can check out. And the reason I'm not telling you all that now is because I want to get right into the review. So let's start it right off. Lucas with Sunrise. Sunrise, what do you think about this song?
Well, Ski, this is definitely an instrumental song, as we could hear, and it's definitely a song that is very soothing and that has no vocals. A little bit disappointed, but I kind of knew Coldplay's like one of those bands and that start off their album with an instrumental. They don't do it all the time, but every once in a while they do that. And a lot of deep thinking bands do that, and a lot of great instrumental bands do that as well. And I really enjoyed this. I really would add this to my Enya playlist. And
Can I ask you really quick? Can I ask you really quick? Yes. What is your Enya playlist?
So, oh, bro, it's Enya. You know, way sail away, sail away. Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
And, so, Enya is like pretty sure she's the biggest.
Okay.
Solo Irish, pop
artist. I get what you mean. Sorry, I didn't know who she was. I didn't know who she was. So you're saying you'd add this to a playlist with similar kind of music like this?
Yes, Gabe.
Yeah. Okay. I love Sunrise as well. Like you said, it really gets you thinking. This is a 100% song that if they were to release this as a single, it would suck. Not because the song sucks, but because it's more of an album song. It's more really.
It'd be more in the. I think it'd chart in the new age section.
Yeah, you're right on that, actually, 100%. But there isn't much to say about the song, but the instrumental is beautiful. The violin, everything in the instrumental is really nice, and it sets you greatly up for church. Now, church, I like this song. It's one of my top ones on the album, to be honest. Obviously, I like what he's talking about with church. Obviously, the instrumental is crazy good. The vocals are crazy good. As usual, I'm thinking this is gonna be one of the top songs on the album. And I just kind of like what he's saying. Like, he's talking about, you know, he does this, he does that, he sins. He's gonna go to your church. He's gonna go to whoever's church. And the question is and we can get into this later. I'd actually like to get into it later, but a question is that I want your guys' opinion on, and that is, when he's talking about church, is he talking about the Church of God? And there's a lot of God stuff in this album. Like I said, we'll get into it. But is it like Kanye, where the Coldplay is a Christian, or is it more of a gospel kind of band? And me and Lucas are probably gonna answer that question later, but just keep that in mind when talking about all of these songs. Luke, what do you think about church?
Well, church actually kind of. I mean, I love the vocals, I love the vocal arrangement, I love the instrumental. But what bothered me the most is, so I'm a Christian, and so is Sean. Chris Martin was raised Christian, and what really annoys me about the song is like, I'm gonna worship you, baby, and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, come on, Chris Martin, don't be, because it contradicts his religion, Christianity. Because, yeah, I mean, I don't really think that word worship should be used in this case. But overall, I do love the instrumental. I do love the vocals. Vocals are great, and it's really I think this would chart pretty high if this was released as a single. I think this should have been released first as a single, ahead of Orphans and ahead of everything else, because this was by far one of the best songs on this album, better than all the singles that they've released so far.
Really?
In my opinion. Opinion.
So, what do you think about Trouble in Town?
Trouble in Town. So, what I've realized with this album so far, from what we're talking about, they love it. This is more of a storytelling album. So we've already reacted to Daddy. We've already explained that, and it really does seem like a storytelling album. In this case, like normal everyday life problems, and I mean, Trouble in Town. That's really what it is. And then you have that little bit of dialogue there. The dialogue, it was interesting. It was pretty colorful, but you don't really see that from Coldplay, and they never cuss in their music, which is
that was interesting.
Yeah. That was very.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It was very interesting.
I like the first part, because obviously It sounds redundant and honestly kind of dumb to say, well, the song's about trouble in town, but I mean, it's really, that's what it's about, you know, trouble in your city, trouble wherever, another part of everyday life, really. I like the first half of the song. The second half just lost me. It was just, it's just weird. And I've actually seen Coldplay fans kind of say that this song was just weird. For me though, as far as this album goes, is it a trash song? No. But compared to all the other ones, this one doesn't go too high for me. But what does is Broken. Now, Broken, in my opinion, would probably be the first mostly gospel song on this album. Church, maybe a little bit. Sunrise,
Church,
not really. But Broken, I really like that. It's kind of like, well, we'll get into When I Need a Friend in a second, because that's probably the most gospel song on this album. But I feel like that one's more of a prayer. This one is maybe more of him calling out and admitting something. What do you think about Broken, Lucas?
Broken was definitely an enjoyable song. I actually really did like Broken. It's one of my favorite songs on this album, and maybe in general by Coldplay. I mean, this one really grabbed me, and I love gospel. I love gospel music, and in this song, he really does talk about God. Mentions the Lord a lot in this song, and once again, it kind of seems like kind of a worshipful song, and I really enjoy this. And so far, it does seem like in the album, God is mentioned multiple times, and you normally don't see that from Coldplay. I mean, Coldplay does mention God here and there in the previous songs before this album, but I like that he's opening up more about that in this album currently. Yeah. So I mean, overall, I give that song probably a 10 out of 10 because I freaking adored that song. Adored it.
Yeah, I give it about an 8 or 9. But what I mean, okay, so Daddy, right? We did a separate review on this. This will probably be a little shorter. But obviously, when we're reviewing this album, if we were to review it off of not the singles that have been previously released, our opinion on it would definitely be a lot different. Whereas if you count it with the singles, and obviously we'll get into the actual what we think with and without the previous singles of the album in a little bit. But Daddy definitely added a lot to this album and as a single in itself. Point is, check out our video, but we loved this song. It was amazing when it's talking about. The instrumental was amazing. The vocals were so good and atmospheric. This was a really, really good song. To be honest, maybe it would have been a little nice if they actually didn't release it. I mean, I know they released Daddy like only a day or two before the album, but I feel like they should have saved this and only dropped Champion of the World as a single, because Daddy, in my opinion, doesn't really seem like such of a single song. More of an album song, but this works really well. Quick thoughts about Daddy.
Like we said in the video, this is really, it's simple. Kids want a kid that wants their dad to come back after he left, and this, like we said in the previous video talking about Daddy, it is definitely one of those songs that's relatable to a lot of children all over the world, even adults right now, because so many children have parents who have left them. This doesn't just apply for dads, this also applies for moms, even though it doesn't mention mom at all in the song. It applies to kids. It really is a relatable song to kids whose parents have left them or have died. I mean, it's really what it is, and that's why I think this song will get a lot of embrace. Even though it was released a little bit ago now, I think it will get a lot of embrace by a lot of the kids that only have one parent.
Yeah, I agree.
Or no parents at all.
So this was a really, really good song overall. And then this next song kind of switches it up, obviously, because Wow to Pot to I don't know exactly how to say this. Track's number 6. It switches up because this is the shortest track on the album, Beating Guns, but it's only a minute and 17 seconds long. To me, I don't know if this is 100% right, but to me this song kind of sounds like it's what I picture, and this is what Coldplay really did well in this album, is making you picture things. What I picture with this song is him sitting on a bench by honestly, this is what I picture. I picture him sitting on a bench by the Washington Monument, playing his ukulele, playing his guitar, whatever you want to call it, and just singing. That's what I picture. What do you think about this song?
It's definitely. I mean, also another mention of God here. It just seems like a simple song, and this just seems to be like him talking to God a little bit. A little bit. I mean, it just seems to be what it is, what the message is, and maybe these are just like they're kind of going more simple when it comes to songs on this album.
Yeah,
Like
for
this
sure.
one, this one is definitely a
It's
simple song,
extremely simple.
and this. I mean, we've talked about Coldplay having songs that sound like prayers, but this song really does talk about just life in general
It's like spontaneous
and God.
worship. It's like spontaneous worship slash just spontaneous singing. You know what I mean? That's what it sounds like
I
to
mean,
me.
I don't know about spontaneous worship because I mean, that's more like not planned. It's more of a
Yeah. Okay. Well,
just.
spontaneous is what I think it sounds like, in my opinion.
I mean, it's really what it sounds like to me is just like an acoustic prayer that was just taken and made into a song.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. But you know, it's good to have this short song right before the longest song on the album, Arabesque. We did a review on this as well, obviously because it came out. Comes in at 5 minutes and 40 seconds. What did we think about this song when we reviewed it?
So Arabesque was definitely one of the songs that I liked way more than you did, because you're not really an instrumental person.
But I
I
liked
mean,
it a
you
lot.
love instrumentals. Believe me, I know. But like, you like the vocals a lot too. You want songs that have vocals in them. But this song was really experimental because you don't see a lot of R&B, jazzy instrumentals from Coldplay. You don't normally see that. And it's so cool to see them do this, and they've proven to do really well in it, really well in playing R&B music and jazz music. And this will probably chart. I don't know if it's charted already. I haven't checked yet, but this will probably chart pretty high in the R&B charts. And bro, solid instrumental.
I assume it has the Yeah, this was a really cool song actually. Um, Not a lot of vocals, but it's not a big deal. And okay, moving on to the next track though, I'm actually seeing the theme with this album. So we're talking about okay, so real quick, so we're talking about like a song, like it has this, but it doesn't have that. Then the next song has that. So track number 6, Wout or whatever you want to call it. Sorry, Wat W Pot P. Whatever. That song's really short and it doesn't have much substance. It's simple. Then Arabesque, kind of the opposite, but not a lot of vocals. And then track number 8, When I Need a Friend. This is probably my favorite, second or first favorite song in the album. The vocals are beautiful. Again, talking about God. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds like that. Either way, it's a prayer, sweet gospel sort of song, whether he's talking about God or not. But the vocals and the choir in the background, absolutely beautiful. I was listening to headphones with this, and I felt like I was just getting like encapsulated in the song. Really good song.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But this doesn't really seem like a gospel song. It has a choir in the background, but gospel kind of seems more outgoing, more free. In this case, it kind of seems like more of a formal choir, kind of like the choir I'm in right now, Sean.
Yeah.
So it really does have a nice feel to it. It's a softer song, but once again they talk about God, so I'm happy. And
Yeah, because he's like when Joseph, I forget exactly, but when Joseph something, remember that part? Okay, so now moving on to the Sunset version. Let's start it off. I've been talking a decent amount. So, Luke, Guns. What do you think about Guns?
So I just got finished saying that Coldplay doesn't cuss a lot in their songs, and they cuss a little bit in this song, but Guns was pretty exciting. I got like a nice. I feel like it's one of those songs that you can put into a movie, and you know how sometimes in movies people move and they have kind of the like they kind of film them moving,
Yeah.
kind of their journey. I feel like that's what that song could be placed on there.
Sounds like Johnny Cash.
Okay, it's not like Johnny Cash.
I'm kidding.
This is
I'm
not like you
I'm
said
kidding.
that before, bro.
I know. I'm kidding. I know that annoy you. But hold on. Real quick before you keep going. The reason I thought of Johnny Cash is because one of the oh my gosh, I'm blanking, but one of his songs is played in the movie Logan, the X-Men movie. You know that movie?
Yes, Ski.
I could see this in that kind of movie. Okay, but here's the deal. The guitar on this song, I
No,
loved the
bro.
guitar.
I know, bro.
The,
It,
gu-
it it really is fire.
the
It really is
guitar
fire.
was great. This was honestly again one of the best songs of this album because it was short. Short could sometimes be bad, but in this case, it was good. The guitar was great. I like how he kind of goes a little lower. It goes dun 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 dum. I really like that. I really like that. Any final thoughts about this
Yeah.
song?
No. Actually, overall, I really did like the song. Really did like the song. I give this probably a 7.5 out of 10.
I'd give this an 8.5. Okay. Now Orphans, probably the exact opposite of this song. Orphans. We already did a review on this as well. So quickly about Orphans. Orphans, as of now, who knows if it'll stick, but I mean, is the top song from this album. We're talking charting
Yes.
wise, not like what fans think are skill wise, but charting wise, this is the top song on the album so far. And to be honest, it'll probably stay that way. Orphans, it's a pretty good
He
song.
loves Orphans. Didn't he?
Yeah, the thing is it's catchy, but it's not. I don't know. I don't like it as much as these other ones. But it's a good song. I wouldn't say there's anything like super super special about it. Besides the really airiness and openness to the the openness on the vocals. I know we both loved that, and the I wanna know, da-na-na.
Where I can go.
That is a really catchy part. For sure. But quick thoughts about Orphans.
Orphans was definitely not my favorite song by Coldplay or on this album, and the reason why it's charting pretty high and it will probably be that. Okay, I've talked to you multiple times about this. Pick your singles right. Pick the right songs to release as your single. This is not the right song to release as your single. You should have released Church first.
Really?
Church is one of those songs that people just like grab onto. It's one of those melodies that's great.
All right. So here's the
vocals
thing.
that's great.
Playing devil's advocate. Orphans is the top charting song from this album, so doesn't that technically mean that people are grabbing onto it?
Well, bro, people automatically love Coldplay, and they've been waiting 4 years, or just about 4 years.
Okay, but
So they,
to be fair,
but what, bro?
Orphans was dropped at the same time not Orphans. Arabesque was dropped at the same time as Orphans, and Orphans did better. So that technically
Bro.
means people are liking Orphans the best so far.
Oh, bro, I mean, there was already news that Arabesque was going to be more of an instrumental song, and that was already out there. That was already a statement by them.
Okay, well here's the
And
thing. I would disagree with you though. I do think Orphans was actually a good song for them to release as a single because I feel like this is probably the most radio worthy song on here. Besides
Alright, bro.
Church as well, but hold on, think about it. I mean, if they dropped like When I Need a Friend, or if they dropped like Watt W Pot P, or if they dropped Sunrise on the radio, that wouldn't be radio friendly. Orphans, in my opinion, is kind of.
Oh, bro, I mean, yeah, I do agree with you on that, but I put that as my 5th single. I'd release 5 singles on this album, and I'll say the other ones when we get to them.
Yeah.
But I would have released Church first, and then Arabesque, and then after that, I think I released Guns afterward too. I think that's when I would release that, and then I would release Broken, and then Orphans.
I think for a second my brain was thinking, oh, Guns was a single, but I only thought that because the preview came out for it. Guns definitely should have been a single, in my opinion. But let's move on to Eco. So, Eco is a really good song, and in my opinion, it kind of sounds like he's talking about the future, about what things will be. Look, all of these vocals from him are sweet and good. Now, when I say sweet vocal-wise, I mean it sounds purely no rasping. Like it just sounds so like fresh. Fresh could be another word. The vocals on this are really fresh. The piano is really nice. It's a really it's not super different like some of these songs like Arabesque, maybe Daddy, whatever. But it's a great song. I give this 8.5 to 9 out of 10. Yeah, I really like this song. Thoughts about this song, Luke?
Yeah, I definitely do like the song, and basically everything you said was what I was about to say, so I got nothing else to say on this song.
Yeah, so this song's great. Okay, Cry, Cry, Cry. What do you think about this song, Luke?
So Cry, 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 it's definitely a song that's, that actually kind of made me a little bit emotional about, overall, it was just, I'm not sure. It could just be the mood I was in, but it was I mean, some lyrics are just really, bro. Some lyrics can just really get to you, and sometimes you have to be in the right mood to know this song. But when I was listening to it, it's kind of, I mean, the words just seem a little bit relatable,
Yeah.
but some of these words are just like you wish that you were in that situation. You wish you had some kind of help in this situation, and I mean, when I listened to this song, I did feel a little bit isolated at the time,
Mm.
cause yeah. But this song is definitely a sad song, but overall, instrumental wise, vocal wise, it is a pretty good song. I give this probably if I was in the good mood, 7.5. But in that, bro, first listen, oh, it was sad. But it took time to really grow on me.
Okay. I think I really like this song as well. I like how they layered his voice with a higher voice. I've seen that, I Hate Myself by NF. I like
Yes.
that. I like that. Yeah, honestly, you said everything. The chorus itself though is really really catchy. This is another one that could chart. Yeah, this is a great song. But yeah, Old Friends. Okay, so Old Friends is a good song as well. It's kind of
Yes.
bittersweet as well. And to be honest, when I was about to click on the song Old Friends, I was expecting the Hobbit song. You know that one from
my-
Hobbit. But it has that sort of same kind of tone where he just wants to talk to old friends. That's what I got from it. What do you think about this song, Luke?
Definitely the same thing you just said. It's definitely one of those songs where you want to be able to reach out to your old friends. That, in this case, this is very relatable to me because I've moved just about everywhere.
Me as well. I haven't
Like, I've
moved,
lived in
but
so many
still a
different
bit.
climates,
Yeah.
and I made so many friends along the way, and I've tried to reach out to them, and I've reached out to you too a lot too. So you're one of those friends that's like in another state. So yeah. But in
Yeah, for those of
Michigan,
you who don't know, I live in Arizona. Luke lives in Cali. So, before we started talking sort of again, I mean, we always had talk. Before we started talking like sort of again, this is a song he could have sent to me, and I would have been like, all right, man, we can talk. But,
yes, ski.
yeah, this kind of song, just like, all right, let's say I had an abusive dad. Daddy would be a sort of song. Well, that's not funny. That's not funny. Daddy
No, bro,
would.
it's just like I pictured Bill
Oh
trying.
yeah, my father. But anyways, okay. So I sent Daddy to my abusive father, and that's like a song you could send to him. You could send When I Need a Friend to someone who's being a jerk, or someone you want to be your friend. And you could send Old Friends to a great old friend of yours. That's really the beautiful thing about this album. And we're about to wrap it up so we can actually review the album. Okay, so track number 6. I don't even know how to say this Chinese mumble jumble. It's an instrumental, just like Sunrise was, but obviously this is a piano instrumental. But then about halfway through, they put some drums in it, and like this is great piano. I mean, obviously it's great piano. It's catchy piano. It's it has a hint of emotionalness to it, or emotion, or whatever you want to call it. But I don't really like the second half when the drums come in because they're not satisfying to me. They weren't punchy enough to me, to be honest. Like if it was more of like a I don't want to beatbox because it's gonna hurt all your guys' ears. But if it was more like or versus what the
Hurt
bass
my ears, Sean.
versus what it was like. I really didn't like that. I mean, I'm not huge on this song, but like it's pretty good. What do you think about Chinese mumble jumble?
This was not my favorite song.
Nah.
My least favorite song, by far.
Yeah.
By far.
Still not trash though, because it's Coldplay, but it's like, eh. I think this was really unnecessary because Sunrise set you up, but this felt like I think this was a filler song. This is a filler song, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on that.
Okay, so Champion of the World. We did a review on this one as well. Same with Everyday Life, the last track. Champion of the World, we didn't really like it at first. I still don't love it, but to be honest, I am actually liking it a lot more. Not for any particular reason, not like, oh, the vocals sound better or the instrumental sounds better. It just sounds better as a song to me, and the guitar part is pretty catchy. What do you think about Champion of the World?
It's not my favorite song. It's not my favorite song. It was my least favorite song coming in without knowing the full album. But the Japanese stuff really that took its place like that.
Yeah.
But this song was
The
definitely
Arabic song sucks, dude.
No, that song was brilliant, bro.
I said Arabic.
Bro, but that's not Arab. Oh my. Okay. Okay, Ski. It was definitely a song that I thought was cool production wise. Lyrics were simple, instrumental was fine, but was not my favorite.
Yeah, I agree. And moving on, Everyday Life. What do you think about Everyday Life?
It's definitely a song that was really, really cool to me. Really cool to me. Love the instrumental, love the vocal, and this was one of my favorite songs on this album. I say top 5.
I agree.
Top 5. I know I named my singles, but this was still my top 5.
Yeah.
This is top 5.
This was a really good single, actually. This was a good single release, in my opinion. But yeah, this sets. I mean, okay, well, like, this could be a first song or a last song. Sunrise could have been a last song or a first song. Maybe they should have switched it a little bit. Except Sunrise is called Sunrise, but they literally could have just called it Sunset, and it would have sounded the same to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Everyday Life was a great song. It sums the album up. It could have closed it or opened it. It summed the album up. And I really liked that. So okay, let's get into the album review. So first, I'm gonna just do it as a whole, as far as context goes and as far as content goes, and like track to track, how they relate to each other. In my opinion, they relate to each other some of the best I've ever seen in an album. This album is very, very cohesive. Besides the Arabic song, whatever. Besides that one, I feel like the song is very cohesive. I mean, you got Sunrise to open it, then you got Church to kind of set the tune. Then Trouble in Town, kind of shined away from that a little bit. Then you got Broken, going back to the gospel sort of thing. And then switching away from God and troubles that you're having in your city, just troubles in your mind, in your inner self, switches it to Daddy, talking about a whole different subject, but it is equally just as important. Then you go to Watts W Pot P, and this one... Now, this is another song that I like, but it is unnecessary to a point. They don't necessarily need this. Do I like it, though? Yeah, it's a good song. But this isn't essential. But great song, good song. I mean, this kind of like, it kind of warms you up for Arabesque. Because if it was just Daddy, then Arabesque, they're both songs that are really heavy time-wise. It might have been a bit much. So this kind of just freed it up for you. And then you got Arabesque, kind of switching it up, coming with the jazz and all of that. Totally switching up the content matter from all those touchy subjects about kids and their dads, God, inner troubles, all of that. Then goes right back into the emotion with I Need a Friend, kind of starting the trend talking about friends, really. And obviously this was a great song like we just said. This kind of brings back the God a little bit, but more of friendship, really. And then you got Guns, which again disrupts the style again. Which I think was important because when I Need a Friend and Arabesque, and even Daddy, aren't similar in some ways, but in some ways they are, just because of the simplicity to them and the difference to them. Obviously Daddy and Arabesque are both time heavy, like I said, and then when I Need a Friend they just all feel very heavy. They're all very heavy topics. And then Guns comes. And in my opinion, Guns is sort of like a song that it's kind of like, it's not unnecessary, but the content about it is just like, I mean, they're just talking about they'll need guns. So it's kind of switching it up from all of that heaviness to kind of like a lighter song. And the guitar is amazing and all of that. And then going back into the emotion sort of, but not super heavily, with Orphans. Kind of our first song that is not super different. Not super short on time or long on time or vocal heavy or instrumental heavy. It's kind of like a balanced song. Same with Eco. Same with Cry, Cry, Cry. And then Old Friends brings it back to the emotion, We loved Old Friends. And then the Chinese, Japanese, Zimbabwean song. I thought that was unnecessary. But then you got Champion of the World. You got Champion of the World. Whether we like this song or not, we think it's okay, like we said. A little bit of hype factor to it. Before you close out the album, summing it all perfectly up with everyday life. Just summing up every single topic. And I think it's important, not every single song on this album was emotion heavy. It didn't hit a strong topic, or else it would have gotten like a little annoying. You got, I'd say there's 16 tracks on this album. I'd say you got probably 10 that are emotion heavy, and then you got 4 or 6 that are kind of topically not super heavy and just kind of light. So, Luke, what do you think about the cohesiveness of this album?
So it's definitely a mix of emotions, I think, in this song, and a mix of genres actually, because this jumps into multiple different genres: pop, gospel, R&B, jazz, and it's really cool to see them do this, because normally they don't do stuff like this. I mean, you normally see pop, and that's really what they are.
Pop and pop, rock and rock, rap and rap, not all these different things.
Mm-hmm. Well, not rap, but yeah. I mean,
from other people. With other people, it's always rap and rap or pop. You know what I mean? Not all of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in general, I do actually really love how they've set up the album. I really do. Actually, I think it's pretty creative too.
Yeah. I kind of like how they have like a sunrise part and then a sunset part. It's kind of like I don't know. It's not, in my opinion, it's not a huge shift in tone. I don't know. But here's the real question, and I want your opinion on this, Luke, because you'll probably have a better opinion on this than me. But you've been waiting like 4 or 5 years. Is this a letdown? Now, before you say it, 4 years, okay. Before you say it, now, this is a good album regardless, but for how long you've been waiting, is this a letdown? Were you expecting more, or were you expecting less and this came out on top?
So, I was expecting more, and like I said before, I think this is just an album that satisfies the fans for now, and that they're going to make a new album. Because, like we've talked about before, Ryan Tedder from not Coldplay, from One Republic, the lead singer, said that they were going to release a new album in spring 2020. Now that was so exciting to hear. But their other album didn't really chart. They didn't chart that high. Their singles did alright, but they did not have a high charting album. And that was really kind of disappointing, but I feel like that was something to give to the fans because they hadn't released something in a while. So, it's something that I think Coldplay will do. But overall, I adored this album. This album was great. And there's always going to be yeah.
How do you think this is going to rank up against their other albums? And do you think Coldplay fans are going to like this and embrace this? And if they don't like it, why? And if they do like it, why?
So I do think they'll embrace this because, one, their band is jumping into multiple genres, and people can't say, "Oh, Coldplay can't do that," because they did. They could jump into so many genres. And they've done it before, yeah. And it's really, I do not think that this album will chart as high as any of their other albums. Top 10, yes. Top 5, no. I mean, because they've had multiple number 1 albums and multiple top 10 albums, top 5. It's been so successful for them. But I do not think this will go any higher than 10. I do not think so. I think it will just stay there at 10 and then just go down.
So if there are fans who don't like this, do you think? I think for the fans who aren't gonna like this, I can really see into why they wouldn't. I think the reason why they wouldn't is because, like you said, this is kind of a letdown. I think everybody was really looking for that hit song, and although I enjoyed the simplicity, and although it's good at times, and although it's good and even great in this album, I feel like they could have done a little more. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree on that. I do agree. And some of the wording, some of the lyrics, I thought were a little bit contradictive. Like in
Mm.
church, I did think that in church that he shouldn't have talked about like worshiping a woman like that, because as we've all seen, unless it's a good relationship, women come and go. And in this situation, he talks about God a lot in this album. What bothers me a little bit is I'm like, okay, so you're talking about God, and now you're talking about worshiping a woman, and I'm just like, okay, good for you, you love her, but is that really the right word? As a Christian, I don't know what his status is now. He says he believes in God, but he was raised a Christian. As a raised Christian, I just think it's kind of weird that he did that.
I agree. And okay, that leads me into one other question, and do you think this is a Kanye type deal, or do you think it's them just using, and by Kanye type deal I mean like actually like this is a album about faith, which I don't think it is, but do you think it's that, or do you think it's that he's just using, because a lot of people can use the faith lightly, synonymously, as symbols for other stuff, just God in general, like calling out to God just because it's a beautiful thing, but they really mean calling out to the universe or someone else or whatever. Do you think this is meant to be a gospel album, or do you think there were just songs mixed in that happen to instrumentally fit gospel, and because he is a Christian, he wanted to explore some godly lyrical content a little bit?
Well, people have definitely been wanting to hear. People do like to hear about people's religions and their bio, their net worth, and all that. And in this situation, I just think he opened up more about it. I do not think it's a Kanye situation. Kanye had all of his songs were Christian, and he was coming back to God. He said he'd walked away, but Chris Martin never really walked away. Like he didn't just, oh, all right, God, I'm gonna go do all this and just leave you behind. He didn't do that. And
well, we don't
it
know.
wasn't really, no, but is in a way like Kanye because he does mention God. He does mention God. So yeah,
I think that's cool. I would say this is the like pop rock jazz Jesus is king.
oh my.
People are probably gonna hate me for that statement, even though it sounds all like Johnny Cash. But
it does not sound like Johnny Cash.
How would you compare this to other Coldplay albums? How would you rank it all?
I would rank this. Bro. It was not. It was kind of a. Expectations were big after Head Full of Dreams, because I thought they were gonna keep releasing new albums like right away, but they didn't. I would rank this as one of their. One of my least favorite albums. I loved it, but I'm such a big Coldplay fan. This is my least favorite.
Oh, all right. All right. So any other final thoughts about the album? I don't think we missed anything, but if there anything else you want to talk about?
No.
I'd say overall 1 to 10 rating the album. All right, this final rating, drum roll. All right, drum roll. I'm a rap fan, so me liking Coldplay it's not like it's necessarily big, but it's like, point is they're really good at what they do, and so for me to like them because their like style is the exact opposite of rap is good, and for me to like this album like I did, and just listening to them in general has gotten me more into pop and stuff like that. Well, not pop, but their kind of style, pop in general. But 1 out of 10, I give this. For an album, I give this a 6.5. What would you give it?
I give this a 7.5.
Okay. All right. But hey, what would you guys give this album? 1 out of 10. I mean, I'm literally trying to think. Anything else to say? No, I think we got everything. We did every track, everything. This was a great album overall. And Luke loved it, right? But he's also loved every other Coldplay album. So it's like, and so has every other Coldplay fan probably. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this one? I mean, do you hate it? Do you love it? What's your favorite song? What's your least favorite song? Any honorable mentions of songs we missed? any like just anything. Let us know in the comments down below. We can talk about it. If you disagree, if you agree, if you think this is their best album, tell us. And if you think this is 100% like the songs that are gospel, if you think they're 100% gospel, and I guess you could say Christian, or have more of that to it than we think, then let us know. If for all the other Coldplay song reviews, even though I mean the album's dropped, all the songs are out. If you want to go back on our initial thoughts of Arabesque, Daddy, Champion of the World, Everyday Life, and Orphans, go ahead and check those out. I'll link to those in the description. Also, our album predictions. We did do album predictions. I actually don't exactly remember what our album predictions are. In fact, I suggest you watch it, and I'm going to watch it myself so I can see if we were right on some stuff. But check that out. That's also on the future of Coldplay. Like, be on this album. 100% going to be doing a revised, updated version of the future of Coldplay, because it'll look different now, especially because it'll be dropping soon. So, stay tuned. Every single Thursday, we review and react to all the new stuff. Stay tuned for so much music content. Next stuff that'll probably come out will probably be tomorrow, Tuesday, and just a lot of music content. Lucas's channel is linked in the description. Thank you so much for joining me, Lucas. It's here. We're done. Coldplay, you did good, but Coldplay content besides the future video is kind of probably going to be on the low now, because it's going to be a bit. Any final thing you got to say, Luke?
No.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We love you guys to death. Like, oh my word. We'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.